Hi everyone, welcome to another Qigong session. I'm Fiona from Yellow Crane Tai Chi, and we're going to go through about 20 minutes session here, some warm-up Qigongs, and then we're going to concentrate on a little exercise called Jin Jing. So we'll just start off with, as we have done before, just a little bit of tapping.
I'm sometimes afraid to like things because I don't know if it's
collarbone.
the theatre or not.
Just to warm up.
Just so you know, Rich,
some important acupuncture points here for the lung and the kidney. Get right out here to where your shoulder joins your body. Right in the corner. And the other side.
Yeah, I just clicked.
And then put your hand underneath your elbow and push back and just tap around the back, your upper back and the shoulder. And then do the other side. And then underneath the ribs, belly, hips.
Connie said he was jumping on, didn't he? And Louise is joining us.
Your kidneys at the back, down your thighs, and up the back. And then make a loose fist and just rub and warm up your back. You can bend over to get right into the tailbone, right up the back. Get it nice and warm.
Oh no, Facebook's changed its video player
Relax
slightly.
the muscles.
It might only be aesthetically, but it's just they're always fiddling. Can't they just sit still?
And then we'll just do a little bit of shaking. So keep your knees soft. Your feet should be hip width apart, about a foot apart, and knees soft. Find the middle of your foot and just bounce up and down a little. Particularly get your wrists loose, relax your back.
Have you ever heard of growth hacking?
Relax your shoulders. Just let everything relax and get loose.
Oh, weird. I don't think I've discussed it. Maybe I have. But no, Isaac posted this thing.
You can go quite slowly.
Isaac, he posted a status this morning.
Or you can go fast.
He's doing a course in growth hacking. And he was like, if there's any theatres out there for anyone in improv who wants to chat about it. Like, he was essentially offering free consultation.
And settle down.
Oh, yeah. No, I did.
Just feel how you feel.
Yeah, I just said to him, like, it might be good to talk to him at the end of the week. Although it's kind of an odd thing. Like, I looked it up, and it's kind of...
Relax your head.
I need to do more... I just had a look at it, but it's kind of about, like, growth above everything else.
The jaw.
It's kind of an odd thing. It talks about, like...
your shoulders. Your chest. Belly. All down your back.
Yeah, it started in relation to early stage startups who need massive growth in a short time
hips,
on small budgets, but has since then also reached bigger corporate companies. The goal is to acquire as many users or customers as possible while spending
Feel the middle of your foot. Feel yourself stable on the ground.
I might have a chat with him about it. Because if he's leveraging it for...
top of your head,
I'll ask him a wee bit today. Initially, I was going to focus just on the old... focusing on the old like improv marathon they were doing, but Tagout Theatre is a theatre in its own right, so
don't push it too hard, just let it be gentle. Breathing in, breathe out. In through your nose, out through your mouth.
Otherwise, Rich will have to...
So we're going to do some work, just starting at the top,
we're going to have to riff for
and
our
working
lives.
our way down. Please remember in Qigong that you only go to 70% of your maximum effort. That is so that you don't hurt yourself and that you can do it again the next day. And it's about relaxing, not pushing. 3? So we're just going to start off with very gently moving the head to left and right. And whatever speed you do it at, do it even slower. So just imagine keeping your nose and moving your nose to the left, keeping it level. We all go. Just slowly turning round. And then back to the middle. To the other side. Keep the nose level. Don't push it too far. Just go to where it feels comfortable, just to where you start to feel a stretch.
Like the emojis on
do one
the
more,
IBM,
and on this one,
they look like they're on
go
crack.
around to the side.
It's awful.
And when you've got to where you feel the stretch, now look behind you with your eyes.
I think I'm just.
That gives you a passive stretch. Come back to the middle, eyes front.
Oh yeah, but like this one just looks like it's waiting for me to drop my guard and then it's going to steal my shoes.
And then look behind you with your eyes.
Oh, at least it's authentic.
And then back to the middle.
Hello?
Now we're going to do some side bends.
I was just making coffee.
So we're going to go down the side, just gently breathing out. Try and keep straight, don't lean forwards or lean back. Don't push it, just let the head pull you down. Breathing out.
Yeah.
Breathing in. To the other
Should
side.
We go on,
breathing out.
Zoom
Keep
as well,
the
or
knees
just on
soft. Just let the head pull you down. Breathing in and out.
Riff for your life.
Notice if you feel stiffer on one side than the other, which is usual. Breathing out.
I really don't like this gesture because it just means there's nothing here but pull it out
one
further.
More each side.
Stretch it out.
Breathing in, breathing out.
Yeah, me too.
Or you fold it, you pull it up and fold it over.
And out. And in and back to the middle. Now if you're comfortable with that, we're going to use the arm.
Is it
if
better
you
to have the
find
headset?
any problems with your neck or shoulders doing this, then just continue without using the arm. We're going to bring the arm up, breathe out,
Oh yeah,
go
little
down.
buzz.
And now breathe in.
And go and grab
Hold
the
it.
headphones if that helps.
Breathe out. Breathe in again. Feel your ribs stretch and breathe out. And back to the middle. And the other side. Breathe in, breathe out. Allow the head and the weight of the hand to pull you over. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Sorry, yeah, I can do it. I can do that.
Breathe in. Feel your ribs. Breathe out.
I'll go get a headphone.
Back to the middle. Now we'll do one more each side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out. In. And out. Back to the middle. The other side. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, out. In.
How am I now?
Out. And back to the middle. So now, just to work the shoulders and arms a little bit more, we're going to start with the palms up, push them forward.
No, it sound good.
Push back. And right back and underneath the armpits. Palms up.
Oh, I'll grab my charger for my laptop.
Going right back. Forwards. Palms up. Back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together.
Hello? Is that better?
Two more.
Okay. These headphones are about 10 years old, so I'm surprised they still work. I just have to check.
Squeeze your shoulder blades. And now we're going to go the other way. Pull in, push back, and round. Pull in, palms up, push them back, palms up.
A lot of the commercial shoots that are happening at home now, are they're sending out like lights and camera equipment to people at home. It's for them to film at home and then have it directed on Skype or something.
Round. Two more. Okay. And now just a little bit with the hips. So this is marching while bouncing a ball. So just lifting the knee. So try and tuck under as you lift the knee. And just lifting the arms. If you can't lift the knee right up parallel to the floor, that's fine. Just go to where you are, comfortable. And we'll go. And now what we're going to do is, at the moment, we're doing same hand and leg. We're going to change to opposite hand and leg. That's just to keep your brain ticking over. So just marching in place. And now back to same hand and leg. And finish. Okay, and now just a little bit of work on the hips as well. It's a sort of sneaky way of practicing your balance too. So put the weight onto one leg, lift that up, and open, keeping your hips facing forwards. If you want to just put your hand on the wall while you're doing that, that's fine. Or just pretend you've got your hand on the wall. Just opening the hip. Try not to move your body around as you do it. And then do the other side. You'll always find there's one side that's easier than the other. So for me, my right ankle is always a little dodgy from various accidents I've had over the years. So it's always a little bit of a challenge to stand on the right foot. So it's good to practice that. So now I'm just going to lift the heels in place, up and down. Just working the ankle a bit. Just a couple more. and down. So now what I want to do is show you a little exercise taught by my first and main teacher, who was Sifu Peter Gilligan. And this is called Jin Jing, and it's a shortened version of one of the Shaolin Jin Jing. So there are 3 movements in it. So we'll just go through the 3 movements. So we just very softly lift from the wrist and then push forward with the palms, flatten the fingers, turn the arms so the palms face, breathing in to open, bring the hands in a little bit, palms face down, push down and sink, stay where you are, swing the arms up, and stand up and push out. So the first movement from the side is just very soft, lifting from the wrists as if you had a little piece of string there, quite close to the body, breathing in. Then we breathe out, push forward, allow your back to go back a little bit, and let your fingers stretch, but don't lock your elbows. So we'll just do that again. Breathing in, breathing out. It's a bit like a cat stretching. Breathing in, palms press forward, back goes back a little, stretch the fingers, feel them get long. One more time, breathe in, breathe out. And the second movement, we come from here, turn the shoulder so that the palms face, and then we breathe in, turn the palms over, breathe out and sink. So from here, turn the palms to face each other, pull back from your shoulders, breathing in, bend the elbows so that the palms are facing down, breathe out and push down and sink. If you find it too much to sink, that's fine. Just go down to where you feel comfortable. Turn the palms, breathe in, breathe out, push down. So if you were pushing a ball or something down between your knees. When you sink, just be careful not to let your knees collapse in or to arch your back. Just go down a little tiny bit where you're comfortable. So we put those 2 together. We breathe in, push forward, breathe out, stretch the fingers, turn the palms to face each other, breathe in, palms face down, breathe out, push down. So the last movement, we stay down here, keep the hands on the arms just the same shape, and swing them up, breathing in, and then we stand up and breathe out, push down to the sides. So from here, where we're pressing down, keep that roundness in the arms, swing up, breathing in, just to wherever you can get your arms. If you can only get them to here, that's fine. Wherever is comfortable, don't push it. And stand up and let the arms be nice and long, but don't lock the elbows. One more time. Breathing in, breathing out. So if we put that all together, Nice and soft, breathing in, breathing out and push, fingers flat. Turn the palms to face each other, breathe in, palms face down, sink, breathe out. Stay there, swing the arms up, breathe in, push up, breathe out. In, out, in, out, in, out. And do it at the pace of your own breath. If this is too slow, then work it at the pace of your own breath. In, out, in, and out. One more. In, out, in, out, in. Keep your shoulders down and out. And then we just finish off. Just get yourself centered. Back again. Feet firm on the floor. Relaxing. Checking over your body, feeling how you feel. Breathe in and breathe out.
Hello and welcome to Talk at AT for a new week. Today we are joined by a cadre of people. I'm going to throw them onto the screen now. Hello, cadre of people.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, there we go. I'm hoping that people can hear us. If you watched the pre-show, you got a little taste of us doing vocal checks earlier on underneath the Tai Chi.
Yeah.
So apologies to Yellow Crane Tai Chi for talking underneath their Tai Chi. I'm going to throw up their banner. That's not their banner. Oh God, this is a technical disaster beginning this week. I did say when we first started this that it wouldn't be very slick. So Yellow Crane Tai Chi, thank you very much for doing our intro, as well as Marty Byrne as well. He is normally our house band, but he's not joining us this week because he is busy making music in a bunker in Belfast. But Yellow Crane Tai Chi, thank you very much. Their video will be on to our YouTube later on. It's lesson 6, I believe we're up to now. And thank you as well to Marty, which I will throw up Marty's graphic now, which is going to cover me. I'm just behind it here, just behind it. Thank you very much to Marty. Please have a look at their donation pages, paypal.me/sadfa, SADFAY for Marty, and with Tai Chi, it is paypal.me/Yellow Crane Tai Chi. Please support if you can, if you've got a couple of quid, if you enjoyed the Tai Chi or if you enjoyed the music, just throw them something. The more people who can contribute a little something really helps. We all know what crowdfunding does nowadays, so I don't need to explain it too hard. But it is a difficult time, so having more people being supported by more people is I think, really good. Not going to over-egg that too much. So this week we are joined by Isaac, who is a consummate improver and performer. He's joining us from Amsterdam, I believe. Isaac, is that correct?
Yeah. I'm in Amsterdam.
Yeah, there we go. So internet connections, we hope, will hold from all the different locations as ever. But thank you very much for joining us. Niall's going to do our interview today. Just to give you a kind of lowdown of what's happening, we're going to have a wee chat with Isaac about stuff. Then we're going to hear from Dan Leith from his reviews in a rabbit onesie. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to the team, because one of the things that I also haven't properly briefed the team about this, so we'll see what happens. But one of the things that we haven't done is really connect with our own team and interview our own team, and we have some really interesting personalities within our own team. So in the comments, if you want us to interview one of us, you're more than welcome to vote on which one you want to be interviewed. I don't know if anyone will vote, but we'll probably talk to someone at the end and just find out a little bit more about their practice and what they're getting up to, because it's a team full of really interesting people.
You can also vote to have me on again.
Yeah, if you want to hear, I just want to hear more from Isaac. Yeah, just vote for that. That would be awesome.
If you want me to be just like a series regular, or like every once in a while I pop back on for like 20 minutes to talk about something, like I'm into that. I'm into being I
like the way Isaac slowly built. I should just make your square bigger on the screen as you manage to get in further and further and further. I'm up for that. I don't mind. So
just slowly
we'll slowly expand your cube.
Yes, I like the idea that I just get larger and larger until you don't realize what's happened.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
That sounds like me in lockdown, just getting larger and larger each day, not understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I've discovered that ice cream tastes better in lockdown, and so you go outside, you get some sunlight, it's nice, or you go out for dessert or food, but the journey itself, maybe you lose a few calories doing that, or you feel like it's special because of that. Now it's like you just sit at home and Netflix and chill, the best ice cream flavor in the world. Just there's pints of it everywhere, and they're easy to get. You can get Ben & Jerry's delivered. That's been a revelation to me.
It's been a revelation here that you now get Marks and Spencer's delivered on Deliveroo. That's just
What's
weird.
Marks and Spencer? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So if you have questions for Isaac, pop them into the chat. There are literally 3 different chats for this program. So choose your weapon. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're also on our own website, on channel 1 of our own live streams website. That's right. Ooh. We've now got 2 channels. There's no particular reason why we've got that, but we've got 2 channels. So there you go. Well, there is a reason for it. It's an evolving situation, but essentially Channel 1 is what we're on at the moment, which will be main shows and performances. Channel 2 is classes and workshops and so forth. So more on that in future weeks as we go forward. But yes, there are 3 chats. Sweet. Niall will be keeping an eye on some of the chats, and Tommy will be keeping an eye on some of the chats, and I'll probably keep an eye on some of the chats. The only person not keeping an eye on chats will be Louise and Isaac. There you go. Yeah.
I mean,
we should just divvy up the different chats.
I can barely even keep my microphone going, so it's probably best. Remember when I tried to log into this conversation?
You can also hashtag us at talk@at. Hashtag I haven't used in about 2 weeks, mainly because I keep forgetting. So it's on the screen at the moment. Hashtag us if you want. If you want to ask questions, please feel free. Okay, Niall, I'll hand it over to you for a bit of a chit chat with Isaac.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, here we go. All right, Isaac, there's some improv people watching, and they know who you are.
Oh, no.
But for those in the audience they know what you've done. But for those in the audience who don't know who you are or what Tryout Theatre is, could you give us a wee introduction?
So my name is Isaac. I live in Amsterdam. I'm from Boston originally. I co-founded Tryout Theatre somewhat in the neighborhood of 4 years ago with a very talented improviser named Nora McLeese. There was an echo just there. So Nora McLeese and I met Nora at a workshop here in Amsterdam at a workshop by Easy Laughs, who are kind of the resident expat theater here. And we clicked pretty immediately, and we were thinking about let's create something that is a bit more community-centric. So in Amsterdam, a lot of what was going on was like a bit more talent-focused and creative-focused. So there's like a lot of very good improvisers here, but not a lot of groundwork towards how to get a lot of people on stage. So we tried to do that, and we've been nominally successful and hopefully inspired other people in the city to be like, well, we can definitely do our good shows, but also how do we get some space for people to come up and suck and learn? And so we've tried to inspire that a bit. Nora and I have a show called Land of Giants with two other improvisers here named Mimi van Amerongen and Davide Dispensa. I had to remember his last name, and that we usually just call him Dave. The Land of Giants is a wacky freeform show that goes from nonsense to silliness and everywhere in between. And I also do a one-man show, which probably y'all have seen in Belfast, called Isaac's Brain is Very Crowded, which is me performing a fantasy epic by myself. And then I do a bunch of other two-provs and stuff. If you're curious, you can hop on my website, or you can bother me. And I've been talking way too long, and I forgot what I was going to talk about.
No, it's great. It's a bad thing if I talk too much. You're the guest.
Oh, I don't know. Like I like being a guest that's treated a little poorly. Like you could stop me and be like, no, I'm not interesting, and I just have to prove myself. Like that'd be a lot more fun.
I'll take it from here.
I'll take it from here. You don't know shit. But yeah, no. So my activities have been largely. So I perform and teach. But a lot of what I have done and what I still try to do, I think, is try to get folks on stage who don't normally get the chance to get on stage. I'm now weirdly going into I've started to do a bit more marketing. I'm learning about marketing, and I'm looking more at how theaters can reach more people and use and use the messaging they have to like do more than just teach improv, but to use improv to like build out an ecosystem for people. If that makes any sense. I'm still working on that myself. Like I'm as unclear as anyone else, especially in lockdown. So a lot of my ideas are very half-baked based on other work I do.
I think that's how it starts. Like, I mean, that's kind of what this very thing is, what we're doing, and what Accidental Theatre are trying to do is, we have some time now where we've had to, like Tryout Theatre, close our doors temporarily, but we've had all this like tech, the camera Richard's using right now, for ages. We've just never had the time to really experiment with, live streaming and engaging audience online. And it's an interesting thing because, you can do, it's like you said at the beginning, like you can be like the best artist in the world, but it doesn't mean anything unless you can actually reach your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can be a great artist, but I think that improv is weird. Improv is a weird art form where no matter how good of an artist you are, you're doing it in a void until you actively teach it to others, do it with others, and even if you're doing a solo show like me, involve others or like get as much feedback from others as possible, so you're never doing it in a vacuum or a void, and you're only ever as good as when the people around you are doing really well. So when you have a closed group, whenever I see a closed group, I wonder, I'd like to see when a closed group has a ladder that you can climb to either get into that closed group, and if they don't, be exquisitely clear about that. Or if a theater has classes and stuff, I want to see them also being like, what can you use these classes for? If you're not going to give up performance opportunities, then be really clear that you're going to walk away with other skills that you can use. Like improv can't be, improv is an art that cannot be done for its own sake, I think, or not done for just its own sake. It has to either make more of itself for more people to enjoy it, or it has to have other effects when it's not doing that. Yeah. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess that might be part of the reason why the global community is so strong. It's because, the idea, and it's kind of what you're advocating, the idea that, like anyone has the capacity to do this.
Yeah.
It works best when, you work collaboratively and you work together. And that dovetails neatly into my next question.
Ooh.
Beautiful segues.
I love a good segue.
So, I mean, there's a little dip, but we're going to go a little dip and then we're going to go right back up. But unfortunately, a wee dip. But unfortunately, you were going to do the Amsterdam Improv Marathon, which was supposed to be on the 18th of April, which coincided very neatly, bravo, with a massive global pandemic. But
I mean, that's the hope, right? You want attention. You like any media attention is good attention. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had to say we can't do it in the physical world.
Yeah, I mean, like it wasn't, but you rallied really quickly. You took it online. How did you arrive at that decision? Was that always in the back of your mind as postponement grew more likely, or was it only really considered when it was clear it wasn't going to happen physically?
So I mean, there's something I have to clarify in that. So Tag Out Theater is an interesting little beast because. So I co-founded with the great Nora McLeese, known for Ferocious 4 and for other and for a growing body of work across Europe. She's fantastic. Her and I have differing opinion. I think we're very connected to the Amsterdam community and the global community, and I think that it's very important that I differentiate when I'm talking about my own opinions versus like the Tag Out opinions, because her and I are careful to align when it's on Tag Out and to be individual because also the European community can be very quick to put you in a box and be like Isaac and Nora or this, which we're really not. We have really unique perspectives and I just want that to be really clear, that I represent my own part of Tag Out's philosophy and she represents hers. And I think that that's really cool when we have these different philosophies. And so Tag Out's this really odd modular beast. But yeah, so just going, but I wanted to clarify that, because when you go back to the marathon, I was actually really I was hit hard by the cancellation. And for me, it was like, well, we can't do it live. Can't we just cancel the thing? It was really I was a bit heartbroken, but I was also just it just stressed me out that we weren't going to be able to do this thing, that we wouldn't be able to have that physical energy of having all those people inside of, this small cramped theater for 12 hours. And Nora was really the one that said, let's put this thing online. She got really tech savvy very fast. She figured out a way to do it. And so I really supported her vision on that, and I helped get people involved. But it was really Nora that pushed for that to be online, just as an experiment to see whether or not it would work. And I think that it did. It gave people a full day of improv without having to leave. It gave a lot of it gave a lot of performers that would have just never done it the chance to just be online and try it out. So we were doing what we intended for it to be. but it really just like was Nora that pushed that forward, and I thank her for it, and I thank her for kind of taking that risk of like committing to like an 8-9 hour online thing and like pushing people to do that. It was pretty nuts.
I mean, I think you raise like an important point. It's in that like it's not just a case of turning on like switching on your webcam and doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Like just because we all have the technology to do it, there's like an immense amount of work. Like I know when things started to change for us, we were constantly trying to pivot to adapt to a new situation, and it can be like really tiring. And like you looking at the dates here, like you postponed on the 24th of March, and you announced the digital version on the 8th of April, and then you performed on the 18th. So like maybe like 3 weeks. Like what was it like getting organized and like going back to the question of marketing, like spreading the word as well?
Well, so the turnaround was so quick that we just decided, let's just try this thing. We sent out emails to see who'd be interested. Those who were interested, we pushed them to tell us, you can do it live, you're gonna make a video for us, and then we just kind of just crammed it all together. In terms of marketing, we just made a few posts on Facebook, a few sponsored posts, I'm pretty sure, and just sent it out to everyone who was going to be involved, and it became a bit more of a thing for people just in our networks. Like we didn't push for it to be anything more than we could make it in that moment. Because again, I think that we were also feeling that we wanted to test it. We wanted to test whether or not how it felt, how it worked for us, because the risk was also pretty low. You can put this thing together fast. You can have people like online, and I think it also, in terms of it just really was for our network and to test whether or not how it felt. And I think that the end result was that it felt tiring. It felt like, for me, like, it was fun to see people performing, and it was fun to put it together. But I think that it helped forward our understanding of the fact that we have not figured out the online improv format. We just haven't. There's like, I can count on my fingers how many teams I think in the world have a good idea of how to do it. Other than that, we're all still just trying to figure it out, because we have discovered a new art form. We were on the first months of a new art form entirely.
Yeah.
So, and we're putting so much immense pressure on ourselves to do it well. And I think that we wanted to be a bit easier on ourselves in terms of let's just put it together, see how it works, and if it doesn't, that's fine. But we're not going to promise that it's going to be anything earth-shattering. It was really like a treat for the community that wanted to do it anyway. Yeah. Those extra few people who wanted just to tune in.
Yeah. You said there that you
or something like that.
No, it's good. Sorry, you cut out a wee bit there for me at the end. But you said there.
You cut out.
You cut out. You said
you cut out. Swear to God.
I was going to ask. You said you were in conversation with everyone all the teams who are going to be performing in the blocks of the festival. So for anyone who didn't catch it, it was 6 1-hour blocks, wasn't that right, Isaac?
Yeah, it was 6 1-hour blocks with breaks in between. So the whole thing was like almost 10 hours or something, like 9-ish hours of us sitting at the computer.
I was going to ask, how did the performers respond? Was there anyone who said, you had to line up for the physical marathon? Was there anyone who said, they didn't want to necessarily try out, the online stuff, that they would just leave it until they could do it in real life? Or were people eager to give it a go?
We had, again, our festival is a one-day festival, and we have 23, 24 teams, so who all run the gamut of experience and style and interests. So we had, some folks were just immediately like, yeah, let's do it. Some were, we really want to be involved, but we don't have the technology, we don't have the time to send a video. Some people didn't even respond, and then a few others were respectfully declined. We're just like, we're just not feeling it. So it was really everything. It was, but it was interesting was the teams that don't normally get to do, and this is again just my own observation, I would have to go back and do this, analyze this data more concretely. But just from what I remember, what I observed, the teams that were a little bit less experienced, that were not normal touring teams, were just really excited to give it a go. And I'd say that some of the other teams that were a bit more experienced, I feel like they were more on the side of just not doing it, relaxing, seeing where the pandemic would go. Because I think they know that once it's over, they'll get their performance opportunities back. So it's just interesting to see that that the hungrier teams, hungrier teams in real life, were also hungry for the online opportunity. Because you never know when your next show is going to be. For some teams.
You said there that okay. You said there that it was an experiment, and it was, I mean, these kind of these maybe newer performers were willing to take the risk. How was the actual experience of doing that? 10 hours. It doesn't sound easy for you, as facilitator, and kind of, it's what's the energy like when it's not not in that cramped room full of 20 improvisers, and whenever it's like, when it's like this.
I mean, some of you have met me and or seen me play in real life. Like that energy, like how I am in that setting, you can't do that on a couch. You can't do that in like in a bedroom or a living room. Like the neighbors would kill me. Like my partner would, my partner's even been like, "You're being loud," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And so even just the act of making sure that this is the Ross movement from Friends, like making sure that you're not being loud in a smaller apartment space, like even that consideration strips it of its craziness and its nonsense. And again, I'd rather be respectful to those I'm with and than satisfy my own need to be screamy and insane. But so that feeling of just because at the last two marathons, I did not sit still ever. I'd watch 5 minutes of a show, run to be like, guys, you should see the show that's happening. And then I'd run to be like, I need nachos. And then I'd run to like drink half a beer with people, forget that I had that beer, run back to the show, run to the dressing room or something like that. That's my energy. And so sitting there, it just wasn't the same. And it's not that it was better or worse. It just, I don't have the tools yet. I don't have the tools as an artist and a producer in that environment for me to be able to be conclusive about anything, or to be able to give you any observations that have any more value than just it was different. And it was just strange. And I wanted to be as active as possible, but I caught myself being like, if I don't tune in for every single show, like what else am I doing? I'm just sitting here, maybe like not watching a show. It's just different. It was just weird. And then whenever me and Nora would come back on to invite the next person on, it's really fun. Like her and I got to play around with we were both like I had a glass of wine at some point, and we would just we would just like riff for a little bit, and that was fun. But that's not the same as being on stage and seeing a show where you're like, everyone get up and freak out for the next act. It's like well, that was fun. Take a sip of wine, and now coming to you from one bedroom to another, this next thing it was just different. I don't know if I've answered the question, but I've gone on my own personal odyssey of nonsense there.
I mean, I think you're right. Like, it is a strange thing to go from stages. Like, the thing I was always told, like, in my early improv days. Oh, Tommy raised his hand.
I did.
Tommy, what's wrong?
I've been watching the socials. We have a couple of questions. Nice and easy.
Oh God!
And quite an interesting one. If it's okay now, do you want me to ask,
Yeah, go ahead.
So give me these fucking things. Wait, can I swear?
Yeah, it's the internet.
It's too late.
Connor Reddick was asking which groups you mentioned earlier about the handful of groups that are doing Zoom improv really well, and Connor was asking which of those groups would you recommend people to look at?
Oh man, okay. There's one group called Parallelogramophonograph, or P-Graph in Austin. You just do P-Graph Austin, because they're in Austin, Texas. They're a group. One or two of them, or maybe all of them, are gamers, and at least one of them, like I don't know them personally. Like I've talked to one time, but but they've traveled inside Europe, so they're connected to the whole European scene. They do genre long form, and they are possibly the best at it, next to the folks over in Victoria, Washington, or no, Victoria, British Columbia, at the Paper Street Theater. These folks in Austin, P-Graph, they do an amazing show. They have costumes. They do backdrops. They really know how to use Twitch and streaming as at least one of them is a gamer and knows the tech, so they're great. Boom Chicago here has done a number of online shows. They did in the in the vein of Middleditch and Schwartz. They did a 2-prov with Stacey Smith and Matt Castelvi, who are Chicago folks and fiancés who do a 2-prov, and that they put on a stage with no audience, but they just used expensive video equipment to capture that. So that's what we're seeing, and they're called. If you look up Stacey Smith, especially, you'll find her stuff online. And then those are two. I'd have to think more, because those are the first two that come to mind. But there's more. There's more groups doing online stuff, but those are the first two that I think of. Also, Easy Laughs here in Amsterdam is actually they're getting better at doing stuff online. And I think that the Maydays in London, I don't know if they're doing shows, they're doing workshops that look very promising and very fun. But if the person who asked me the question wants to shoot me a private message, I can have more time to think, or I can post them on this later. Also, there's a group called Improv Boost in Chester, I think, and it's a guy who and it's a great fellow whose life is to boost other improv work. And so if you go to the Improv Boost on Facebook, then you'll see a lot of good online resources that he's snagged. The Improv Boost is one of my favorite things, because that's just what that's what it's all about. Putting up groups and shows and workshops that just just need that extra bit of exposure, and they do that immediately.
That's maybe one that. Oh, go on now. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I have seen the Improv Boost just keeps popping up on my timeline, and it's just really, that's actually how I found. I was watching Q&A with Parallelogramophonograph last night, and it was because of the Improv Boost that I found out about them. So it's really, but it's kind of keeps with the ethos of improv, which is you're going to help everyone if you help each other, if that makes sense. But sorry, Tommy, you had another question?
There was another two here, a nice quick one from Desmond, 1979, who asks...
It's David S.
They just asked, how are you? And I'm not going to attempt the Dutch, but they asked it in Dutch.
They can see right through me. Oh my God. They can see right through me. I'm doing okay, but my brain is pudding. Answering even the most basic questions at this point, as I'm evidencing now, is just is a minefield. The wheels have come off in a way. Mentally pretty good, pretty happy, but there's days that there's days that are hard, and just being a linear thinker at this point is just that much more challenging. It's already not what I do anyway, but now it's just logic has escaped me.
I think it's important to acknowledge that we each week we've brought artists on and performers and kind of talking about how people are adapting and how they're being resilient and responding and doing their best work. But at the same time, it's really fucking hard. I think it should definitely be said that it's such a pain. And you know what? This channel's anti-coronavirus. There, I said it. And like it is really tough. So I think I think I'm definitely the same. Like there's some days, I think we've definitely talked about it, Rich, where like there's nothing I would love more than just to be back at the theater as normal and working on things, but it's just not possible right now. And I'd love to go back to improv as well, because there's some days where I'll do improv here, and then I'll be like, oh, that was pretty fun, and then I'll go downstairs and try and engage my flatmates in improv. It doesn't work. It doesn't work if you just go up to a random person.
Yeah, it's going back to like how to perform in tiny flats. It doesn't work so well. Trying to do a full performance to one's uninterested flatmates or just in a tiny place.
But there's another thing. Like we're at we're all just figuring this stuff out. No one knows how to do online improv. Even the people who do it best, like they're pioneers in a certain way that there's no groundwork. No one knows. No one has any idea. And I think that, and it's like, and I love to see when people are supportive, like the Improv Boost especially. The guy David Escobedo, again, I'm pretty sure I'm a bit dyslexic with his last name, but just Improv Boost again. Fun. Shout out to him. David Escobedo is a fucking genius. I love him. And we've had conversations too of people people are they're taking it almost too seriously in terms of like they're trying to put the improv that we know and love into a box that it will not go into. It is impossible. Not impossible in terms of we'll never do a good show, but it'll always have to be a different show. We have to do something different, and we have to be much nicer to ourselves as performers and to each other about what we can expect. Like it's gonna be fucking hard, and the improv is like it's gonna suck, and that's okay. Also like before this even happened, I was noticing that like unless a theater instills it from the beginning to allow for people to get up on stage and fucking suck, but not worry that could be their last show ever, like the European community especially, because it has a number of very talented people and very interesting, innovative concepts, it's really, you see a lot of the same people at festivals, you see a lot of the same concepts at festivals, or you see a lot of crazy innovative stuff, and all of it's amazing, but it's the groundwork for getting up and just doing some shit and just sucking. People are really not supportive of that, at least in the way that I've seen. And online, it's really illuminating to see that a lot of improvisers have just backed away, and I'm not entirely sure that that's because they don't think it's going to be good, but maybe because they don't feel welcome to just get up and suck. And there's more workshops now there's a lot more workshops and a lot more people creating opportunities, and that's amazing. And I think that is in response to realizing that like the moment that the stage goes away and the workshop space goes away, people lose interest, so they have to create more space. I don't know. It's just again, this is just from my own experience, and I don't really know, and I don't want to cause any, and I don't want to invite the rancor of European improvisers because they're all fucking amazing. That's the terrible thing. They're all great. So you can never actually be that critical because we're all trying to figure this stuff out. Just figure this stuff out. But I think that what I'm always most impressed by is people who open up the field, make it easy for people to get up and suck, even if getting the main stage time is really, really hard or even impossible. As long as there's a space for that people to like go up and just do something, just to try it out, then they'll at least know why they're working towards that main stage, even if it's virtually unattainable. That's my rant. And again, it's very clear. It's my rant. I've gotten into a lot of trouble. I've gotten into a lot of trouble with people here, with people internationally, for just having these really strong feelings about what improv can and should be, about the openness that we say we have, and that we often are not able to actually like make actionable because we're all still people, and because we say that we are in this beautiful rainbow amazing improv world, but we're all still people and we all suck a little bit and we all are exclusive at least a little bit. to the people we like. And so me, I'm not the easiest person. I like to pretend I'm friendly as fuck, but I'm a lot sometimes. And so I've been unwelcome in certain fields, which is perfectly fine. And then when I create my own, and people come and talk with me, that's great. But it's just like, from my experience, it's like we just need to be more aware of who's not doing it and why they're not doing it, and what channels we can open for them to make it possible for them to do it, and maybe even make it so their inclusion in it doesn't have any effect on our own art, just expands the amount of art that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth kind of expanding that thought into every single art form, because the idea of being critical of others, I think, is very hampering, especially like in a community as small as Northern Ireland, let alone as small as Europe. You know, the idea that we don't give each other enough room to experiment or to just, you know, not necessarily suck, because all the work is brilliant, but to try stuff out and not always to land perfectly. Because, you know, some stuff is going to work great and some stuff is going to not always work as well as it will do after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different attempts in different ways.
Yeah.
And let alone, I mean, audiences may be forgiving or not, but I don't think artists are as forgiving as we could be. And
no,
it's, you know, I'm not as forgiving as I should be with other people's work sometimes, and I think it's a good lesson to learn for everyone.
You ever heard the note from an improviser? You ever gotten the note, "I don't know if I believed you"? I hate that note. I hate that note so much. That's my least favorite note in improv. You know why?
It feels like a parody. It feels like a parody note. It's one of the things that you see on.
Note that I've heard from people. It's a real note I've heard.
You hear it on like parody TV shows of good and bad performance. Yeah, I didn't believe you. You could be better. You know, these are kind of the things that you often hear in TV shows when they make fun of live performance.
So there's a thing I wanted to do at one point. I don't know how to do it, but so I'm entrenched in the startup world. I write about the startup world. That's like my main job for various companies and investor platforms and such. And the idea of ecosystem is very attractive to me. We call ourselves a community, and in improv, the community is just a group of buddies, and it's very easy for someone to just not be welcome in the community.
It's or easy even for a community to turn into a clique.
Yeah, well, the community is not a bad word. It's just
no, not at all.
Or a group of people, but it's easy to be like, well, I don't know if I'm part of that community. I'll be part of my own community. But an ecosystem is a set of communities. An ecosystem is a supportive, like, constellation of communities that can work together. That can build together, and it's like, and I always wonder if improv could, in any given town, could use like someone who comes with knowledge from like an accelerator or incubator mindset, to be able to look at how you could allow people to be as exclusive as they want in their own art form and in their own innovative ideas, while giving full range for people to also participate in that art form, and make it so that, and also matchmake in a way, like if I know that certain coaches are more actor and theater based and really want to believe the stuff that's happening on stage, to know how to match them with groups and with formats in theaters that will be perfect for that, and then match students to, like, I don't know, it just, there's a lot of ad hoc stuff that happens, and a lot of people becoming their own brands and almost improv celebrities. And I think that there's just like that it's hard, because that should all be allowed, but there is also a lot of room for business development that shouldn't affect anyone's quality of art, but it should just be able to give people more room to grow within that, room to grow within their own version of that art form, and to excel at that, and have that, and have those audiences go to everything.
Yeah. I suppose like it's something that can happen very insidiously, like those kind of, like, you talk, like, community is good, but it's when that community becomes, you know, whenever the barrier around it becomes impermeable, that's when there's an issue. And normally, I'm really glad, sometimes when people go, I've got in trouble for my views on a live stream, normally it isn't for inclusivity. So I appreciated that. Tommy, did you have another question?
Yeah, it feeds into kind of what you're saying about people getting into the community and sort of barriers to entry in a way. So there's a question from Tara who was asking, for less established improv groups, do you have any advice on the best way to build up a presence when starting out in performance and improv? So I guess it kind of feeds in.
I think, again, because I'm a bit of a systems thinker, I'd want to know what their field is. I'd want to know what their, like, well, first off, if you're an improv group, you want to know what you're aiming towards first and foremost. You want to know that, like, so if an entrepreneur has to know and fall in love with the problem that they're trying to solve, an improv group has to know the artistic challenge that they're rising towards, and has to know the intention of the group, has to know what they want to do, and what success means for them, what attainable success means for them. In terms of actual usable advice that's not crazy entrepreneur nonsense dribble, look at the successful teams in that city, talk to them and see how they did that. If it's a pretty closed off community, in terms of if like people have their own audiences and they're not willing to cross pollinate and cross promote, then it's really a case of creating your own space. And so I think if you're a less established improv group, there's a few ways you can do that. One is to find a cheap free venue to do like tryout nights and just do your formats, and even then do jams where you try to MC people from your community and ecosystem. Also to work closely on a format or a show that you do very well to submit to European improv festivals. Because then even like a late night spot or something could be something that gets you in the door. And also as a group, just travel a lot too and see what other people are doing. Like find ways to enjoy the development of your group before worrying about whether or not it will get you somewhere. The getting somewhere is what's been slightly toxic in my mind sometimes. You need that for your group. You need that for your ambition. If the entire group matches the ambition, because you don't want to have like 3 people who are like, we want to travel to all European festivals, and have 2 people who are like, we just want to buck around. Like those are all valid, but if that's the case, then you're going to run into problems. So for less established improv groups, it's making your own audience, making your own version of success, and then once you get really good at that, then you can have a proven track record to show to festivals, a proven track record to show the other groups, to be like, even get good enough. You can ask a group that is quote unquote more established, have them come and you'll open for them. Find ways of bringing in those people where you can support them and show how good it feels to work as a team inside one ecosystem, and be and slowly like teach that way without any expectation, because you can never force anyone to do anything. You can only show your best model of your best version of what improv can be, and other people may join you, may not. And also, for less established improv groups, like everything I do actually, because I'm less established than I want to be, is to do the exact thing that you love doing. Because if you spend your time, like I have in the past, trying to get into stuff and not doing it, then you'll cause yourself a little bit of misery that you deserve to have, really. Like you should be doing it because you have fun, and the moment it's not fun, examine why it's not fun, and if it comes from you, then you can work on that. And if it comes from the community, then that's down to, you may have to be the innovator and the disruptor in that regard, which is never a fun thing initially, but there's a lot of reward to be had. Does that answer the question at all?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
You think so? Nice. Again,
Oh, go ahead, Isaac.
No, I'm good.
No, I don't have a thing to talk about. I was just going to ask before we wrap up. you've talked a bit about the marathon and how it was a risk and an experiment. All being well, this time next year we'll all be drinking loads of pints and doing lots of theatre.
I hope so. Oh,
God, I'd love a pint.
I'm gonna come to Belfast. What is the place? The Woodcutters?
Woodworkers.
Woodworkers. I have. Oh God, I want to. Yes, shout out. That's the best. It's the best improv pub ever. Like, I've been to improv pubs all over Europe, and that one's my favorite.
I think we'll have to give that to them as a thing to put on the wall. Isaac, unfortunately, I think we're losing your connection, so I think we're going to have to move on because we've basically just got a green blob now where you used to be, unless that's maybe just you. After the interview,
I'm amorphous. I'm everywhere and nowhere. I am the greenery.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sending questions in, Connor, Tara, Desmond, and everyone else. We're going to have another episode from Dan Leith, Austin Powers. It's reviews in a rabbit onesie from Dan Leith. Have a watch and enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Reviews in a Rabbit Onesie, the show in which I, Dan Leith, review things in a rabbit onesie. Rabbit onesie, I review things in you, yeah. No, I don't think that's it. Hello, welcome. On today's episode, we'll be reviewing another 2 movies and putting them head to head. And the theme of these 2 movies is Jane Austen. Yes, 2 adaptations of 2 of her classic novels. Bit of period dramas for you. So the first film, Sense and Sensibility, released in 1995, directed by Ang Lee. You wouldn't like me when I'm Ang Lee. Sorry. The screenplay was adapted by Emma Thompson, who also stars in the film. Amazing. And then you have Kate Winslet, Hugh Grant, Alan Rickman, and many more. The casting, top-notch. It's a nice, rural period drama setting. Lots of fancy buildings and rugged sheep. The plot of this film concerns a family called the Dashwoods. The father dies and leaves the stately home in the country to the son. Then the daughters are all kicked out because those were the days. The house is left to the brother, who has a very domineering wife called Fanny. And Fanny is a cunt. That sounds even more ridiculous out loud. The Dashwood girls have to move to a cottage, which, to be honest, is even nicer than the place they were chucked out of, so I don't really see what the fuss is. There's a carriage full of dogs! I'm instantly happier there. But yeah, I guess the movie's about them adjusting to life. As with a lot of Austen things, it's about class, status, manners, and romance. I mean, is love a fancy or a feeling? Mm-hmm. There's lots of male suitors. Hugh Grant is there on top adorable, floppy-haired, bumbling form. Plays Farrar. He's quite well-to-do. He's Fanny's sister. And Fanny doesn't want him marrying beneath him. So Emma Thompson's out the window in her eyes. Then Kate Winslet, the middle child, is introduced to Colonel Brandon, who's Alan Rickman. He's fucking class as always. He likes her, but she doesn't like him. And then she meets some cunt called Willoughby, and he's a fucking asshole. Honestly, just the most instantly hateable character I've seen in something for quite some time. Pocket sonnet reading, lock of hair collecting, smug motherfucker. Races around in a carriage which has like fucking yellow spoilers on it. Asshole. Like Aidan Turner, but worse. Plot progresses and will they, won't they? Everyone fucks off to London. Hugh Laurie appears as my sarcastic spirit animal. Always good to see you. There's 2 U's in this film, 2 U's. The acting for the most part is just incredible. Watching Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet together, just fucking... I only have 2 thumbs, but they're both up for those scenes and those performances. Incredible lines like, "Your friendship has been the most important of my life." It's beautifully shot. Kate Winslet being heartbroken in the rain. Who doesn't want to see that? Not sadistically. What I didn't like about this film was it sometimes happens a lot in period dramas. A lot of the sub-characters are kind of just like caricatures. It particularly annoys me in this film when you have such high caliber of realism and acting to then, I'm the silly side character, ha ha ha, Sunday night ITV drama or something. What I learned from this movie is that I would like Alan Rickman to read me poetry. Lovely. And that love can almost kill you. Kind of already knew that. Charming, it's romantic, it's beautifully adapted by Emma Thompson, rightfully won an Oscar for it. Even if you think the period dramas and stuff aren't your thing, I would really recommend this movie because it's really top notch. The ending's a bit signposted, as with a lot of romance, but it is a classic. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't stop myself smiling. Sense and Sensibility, great show. 4 out of 5 bonnets. And now on to movie number 2, Emma. Straight from 2020, yes, from this year. So Emma is about an entitled young woman, a bit of a busybody, likes to matchmake other couples. I think she's all that and kind of above all that. I think she knows best. Quite obnoxious. She's played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who has just incredible eyes. She's really she's got really nice eyes. Got a great supporting cast in this. You've got Mia Goth, Bill Nighy, who doesn't like Bill Nighy, and Johnny Flynn. Nice to see Johnny Flynn. He's naked in this bit. Saw a lot of. It's a story I'm familiar with. Once again, rustic setting, more sheep, but this time the sheep are better groomed. All around, it's quite stylized. It's like period drama turned up to 11. Everything's a bit pink, peach, kind of looks like marzipan. Over the top fashion and decor, which may appeal to some people. For me, it's a bit of a pet hate of mine. I hate when things are supposed to be historical, but they're trying to be trendy and new at the same time. It's kind of like period Wes Anderson, or a period drama as a bit of a cartoon. It's not just over the top visually, but also the score. It's about as subtle as a brick to the small of your back. The performances in this film were very inconsistent. The leads in this film go from being great to being great if you were watching a school play. And a lot of the supporting cast are just pure caricatures. Mr. Elton, the clergyman, he's just like a weasel-faced creep. And the good things about it are the cinematography is lovely. There's some delicious shots, almost as delicious as Anya's eyes. Just want to lick them. I know, that was too weird. Connor Swindells and Tanya Reynolds of Sex Education ilk show up. They're a highlight. They're ace. There's a good scene at a ball with some sexual tension and whatnot. Ooh, saucy and classy at the same time. There are great moments of performance from Mia Goth and Anya Taylor-Joy. She's very good at the emotional side, probably because of her big wet eyes. Big wet eyes. I mean, it's grand. I was just hoping it would be better, I think. It had some lovely tender moments, but for the most part, in my opinion, a little bit much for me. It's not exactly subtle. It's hard to believe that 1995's Clueless was a subtler and less garish adaptation of this story. And it had Paul Rudd in it. So, kind of wish I'd reviewed that instead now. What did I learn from this movie? That I think I have an eye fetish. Give it a go if you're really bored, or if you're a big fan of period dramas. 2 out of 5 bonnets. Thank you for watching Reviews in a Rabbit Onesie. I've been Dan Leith. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. Other buzzwords. Tell your friends. Also, if you want me to review anything in particular, please put any suggestions in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay sane, stay classy. Classy, classy, classy. Finn.
Yeah. Hey, we're back. Hey, that happened a little quicker than we expected because we had a bit of internet connection this year.
There were no technical connections.
There we go. So thank you very much for to Isaac for joining us. Thank you, Niall, for handling that interview or chit chat. So what are people up to? We kind of wanted to check in with the team and see what are people up to, what's happening, what are people doing in lockdown, or what are people kind of trying to work on. Louise, what you working on at the moment?
At the minute, I am doing a third draft for a show that I'm writing for Tinderbox Theatre Company. So I had been commissioned with the Takeaway Theatre award that they had done last year, so we're doing sending another draft today. It's myself and 2 other writers, so we're working on that. What else? I've been doing, maybe play make believe crack. So I'm doing I had been doing Sunday live sessions, which were like kids storytelling sessions, but with the weather getting better and that kind of thing, it's not picking up numbers, and I'm getting more paid work now through the likes of Book Trust NI. I have another company looking for a couple of different videos, people looking for me to do like advertisement, so like telling bedtime stories and then putting their branding on it, things like that. So it's like what I've always done with the street theatre, going out and like promoting brands and doing things. It's not promoting brands, going out and doing my thing too, and it generates a wee bit of a buzz around whatever people are doing, like festivals and things like that. So it seems to be mostly storytelling at the minute, but I've done Zoom chats with some of my adult cabaret. Dimpner Rose has been doing. I was on a Zoom call to Abu Dhabi and France and all of the UK. So wee bits and pieces like that, just kind of seeing what I can do and when I can do it. So I'm always dressed up like this and then pajamas in the bottom. Great.
That's brilliant. Tommy, what have you been up to?
I've been doing loads of workshops still. I was just thinking it might be worth if I put together a little list of things I've found, because I've seen a couple of people doing that. There's so many different things going on right now, like casting directors giving you feedback and sort of suggestions, things like that, workshops. I was on a thing on We Audition yesterday, which is a casting director meeting. This one was specifically for Irish actors. There's 76, I think, of us on there. And then the casting director just goes through and you get 5 to 15-minute meetings with them, and they sort of pick and choose who they want to meet, and they want to go down the list and everything. I think she got through 6 of us. So 70 of us waiting there for an hour, which was fun, but it's the luck of the draw, I guess.
Was it like a normal casting that we were in like a waiting room, waiting to go in one at a time?
Yeah, a virtual waiting room.
Creepy. Well, not creepy, but weird, interesting.
Brings you back to the whole in-person experience of waiting to be seen and nothing coming from it. But
it's done through Zoom? Is it like 76 of you in a Zoom, and then there's like one breakout room where you go individually each at a time?
More or less, yeah. It's this platform called We Audition. So
they have We Audition, yes.
Yeah, they have a waiting room. So I was chatting to people in there. There's a couple of people I'd met before and I knew from back home. So it's quite a nice atmosphere in the waiting room. Just kind of, but I think it's sort of like we're all just sort of sitting there waiting, like how many is she going to get through? The 76 of us waiting.
Nice.
That'd be interesting to take a look at. It sounds like a great show.
It sounds like a great show just watching the casting room. Yeah, it's like one of those psychological experiments where people cannot.
That was the production and you didn't get paid.
I know.
Yeah, it's like one of those kind of psychological experiments where the casting never happens. You're just waiting. And how waiting to see. It's like that episode of Community where they just waited to see how long they waited.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I was on there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Did you get audition?
Still in there?
No.
No? Oh,
it's still open in another browser here. Still waiting.
Some say Tommy Brunt still is waiting for his audition. It's going to be like 100 years from now when they have like myths and legends about this time. It'll be the man who was on Zoom for 100 years.
And you could be that person. Niall, what have you been up to?
Oh no, my internet.
We've lost Niall. Oh, there you go. We had lost Niall. Oh, no, he's back.
There we go. Hey!
I'm back. Oh my god. So this of all days, my flatmate's been on furlough for like the entirety of lockdown now. But today of all days, he was assigned some work. So he's plugged into the Ethernet. So, and apparently my work, he referred to he was like, I'm working, and I'm like, I'm working too, but I just talk shit. Your question, Rich, what am I doing?
That's basically it. Is you're fighting with your flatmate over the internet? I would say a lot of people can relate to that.
Me and my flatmates, we actually get on really well. Like ever since, I'm actually really lucky that I moved house recently, before the lockdown. So I'm lucky to be hanging with some bros. But we're doing. I don't know why I said it like that. But we've actually been doing this thing where each of us runs. They both have experience doing D&D, so like running D&D campaigns, which I've never done because I'm
What's
very.
D&D campaigns?
It's like Louise, do you know Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh yeah.
Louise's face was just confused and offended.
I'm just gonna go and paint my eyelids on here.
Right, everybody. Welcome to.
I like how this segment
hours,
is framed as like,
and,
let's check in with the
again.
team, but not Niall because he's a boring fuck.
Really ripping you out. Go on.
But yeah, we did like I started doing that, so I've just been writing this thing, but it's not like writing a story, because what I've written, it could take half an hour for them to do, or it could take 5 minutes if they just ignore. Like if they ignore, the beggar with a story to tell, like then that's just all that work out the window, So,
Now, I'm going to ask you a serious question. I do not understand anything about Dungeons and Dragons. Please give it a 2-line synopsis of what it is.
All right, Rich, put me on the big screen.
Big screen it is, Niall.
Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a role-playing game. So I think it would have been a good thing to talk to Isaac about, because that's actually, he teaches a workshop based on it. But the idea is you would it's a game, Louise, where you would be sitting at a table and you would have like a character sheet. So that kind of dictates what kind of character you have, whether it's all fucking fantasy and stuff like that. But like your character might be really good at fighting, or they might be really good at magic, or they might be really good at like lying and sneaking around. And basically your character kind of determines your success. But you can do anything. Like I could say, like if Tommy was the DM, I could say, Tommy, I would like to go into the local bar and punch a man. And then Tommy has to improvise. There's a lot of improvisation, and in Tommy's situation, he'll be like, Niall likes to go into bars and punch people. So he could have arranged an encounter where that would happen, or he might just improvise it. So that's the struggle I'm faced with now, Louise, is will my players engage with the host of colourful characters that I've created, or will they just fucking fly by and just murder them? It's like, no, that man was about to tell you his story. But yeah, so I hope that explained it. That was very lovely.
You're the first person to manage to get me interested in Dungeons and Dragons. There you go.
Next week, we'll obviously start a new segment where Niall describes things that are easily Googleable. I think that's
that
our
Louise
new
can't
segment.
be bothered with.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, thank you very much, team, for joining us yet again for another Talk a Day Tea. We're going to be played out by not a song by Marty, but a song by Marty, but a video by Marty that's got a song on it. I'm going to also tease that we've got a new show starting tomorrow night, Book Blend, which features Niall, who was beside me in the Blue Bucks, and Emily Dudakis and Gillian Pankaville, all part of the Accidental team, where they originally started it as an idea about a book club, but it's now become something entirely different. They pick up random books in their houses and grab a glass of wine or something alcoholic, read those books, and then discuss which books are better. Or how they connect and little things like that. So they find random books in their house that they've never got to read, and they read them and then discuss them. It's really interesting.
It's amazing the ways you can find to drink alcohol in lockdown. It's remarkable.
I don't drink anymore, so that's why I'm doing all this other stuff.
We've also got Artist Focus next week on the 19th. Is there an artist booked in for Artist Focus next week? No?
There isn't. So if you're an artist... No, that's not how that show works.
That's not how that show works.
No. Everything else is super inclusive, but that show is not. So
it's still inclusive. It's just inclusive in a different way. Artist Focus will be on 19th, about 1 o'clock on Facebook. Then we've got Figure This coming up on the 22nd at 7 p.m. We've also got the next Talk a Day Tea on the 21st, the day before. And every week as well, Sunday Improv is become a podcast. So if you haven't already checked it out, check out our podcast section. So if you go on to our website, click on Watch Again, and then that'll give you the kind of links to different podcasts and stuff like that. We've got a lot of kind of exciting stuff coming up. Well, we think it's exciting. You may think it's crap. But anyway, if you want to watch it, you can watch it. But we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up later in the month as we develop other things. And some of the stuff actually that we're talking about today with Isaac is actually in the arena of where we'll be playing with from next week onwards. We're kind of just waiting for lockdown to end, and then we'll start to roll out a lot of interesting stuff. Hence why we've now got 2 channels. 2 channels.
Two channels. You forgot a thing, Rich.
Yes.
Rob Explains.
Oh, Rob Explains!
Wednesday.
Why didn't I write that down in my teas? Yes,
Meanwhile,
that is on Wednesday the
Rob
20th. Rob Explains, and this week's topic is cardboard. Yeah.
If it sounds mundane, it's because it is. But we
It is mundane, and that's the entire idea. And if you haven't watched Rob Explains, again, it's another excuse to drink and talk a load of crap. Rob Keane, our beautiful team member with purple hair, explains a random topic that we've chosen. If you're interested, you're more than welcome to send us topics that we might want to possibly look at, both for this show and for any of the things we do. We're always welcome to ideas people want to send through. So please pop us an email or send it through in the different chats. Anything else, team?
If people actually, I didn't think of saying this. I was going to put it up as a post later in the week. But if people want to suggest stuff for the Belfast Improv radio plays, suggestions of anything, just put them in the comments.
Podcasts. Call them podcasts because we've just described them as podcasts.
I believe marketing is my wheelhouse, Rich. So I'll call it whatever.
I believe programming is my wheelhouse, and I programmed a podcast.
And
Looks
I
like
am arranging a fight.
I'll take bets.
Yeah, so yes, if you want to contribute to topics for the podcast as well, or the radio play, they are the same thing, then you can get in touch. Is there a hashtag for that, Niall? Aha! Hoisted upon his marketing petard! Haha!
Richard,
Anyway.
1.
What?
art.
Sorry, every time you move away from the screen, it cuts your audio. No idea why. Thank you very much to everyone for joining us. Thank you for watching. It's been an unusual week this week, but there you go. That's what it is in Lockdown City. Thank you very much. Over to Marty for playing us out. This is a video stroke tune from the 13th of February. Everybody wave.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's turn down the lights. Fire in your bed, sweating through the night.